The defending champion Warriors kicked off free agency by locking up two-time MVP Steph Curry. ESPN is reporting that they are finalizing an NBA record 5-year, $201 million deal, making Curry the first player to sign a supermax contract. Andre Iguodala has reportedly agreed to a 3-year deal, and free agent Nick Young is a serious candidate to be signed for the mid-level exception. However, they do have some new competition in the West, with Paul George going to OKC, Chris Paul going to Houston, and now Jimmy Butler is in Minnesota. We're joined once again by Chris Broussard. Chris, how big is the gap between Golden State and the rest of the West?
All right, Houston obviously is a big story. I think they'll be better in the playoffs than the regular season. Not that they won't be good in the regular season, but Chris Paul's mid-range game, which is totally anti-Mike D'Antoni,
right,
it will be valuable in the playoffs because your Spurs just ran them off the three-point line, and they knew they weren't going to stop and take a 15-footer.
Right.
They're going all the way to the rim where they contested. So that'll be valuable in the playoffs. OKC, we know they got better. They won't be as good, though, as they were with Kevin Durant because he's better than Paul George, and he's a better shooter, which enables him to play with Westbrook.
Will Oklahoma City be better than it was last year?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, way better.
Yes.
But I don't think they're going to challenge Golden State. Minnesota got better, but still a year or two away from contending, I think, at least.
Yeah.
From contending for the West.
But they're a playoff
all
team.
that, oh, yeah, they'll be a playoff team. All that, they should be able to be in that 5 or 4 range.
Mm-hmm.
All that said, the Spurs are still, I think, the chief competition for the Warriors in the West. But I think the gap will be even bigger than it was last year. Because I think the Warriors are going to be better, much better than last year because they're going to be more confident. They're going to be more comfortable with each other. I don't think complacency will set in because Durant's just going for his second one. And I actually think they could get or beat 73 wins if they went for it. I don't think they'll go for it.
They're going to get it.
But I think they could.
They're going to get 75.
I just wonder if they'll be hesitant, because they won 73 and didn't finish it off. That's really the only reason they couldn't get it. But I think the gap is still very large.
The gap is huge. You bring back Steph Curry, who's still not 30. Kevin Durant's coming back. Clay's coming back, coming off that big old deal he got from that shoe company. He's like top 10 in shoe endorser now in the NBA. Draymond, Defensive Player of the Year, he'll be motivated. They brought back Iggy, they brought back Livingston. They signed Bell, who's a very good rim defender, who can rebound the basketball. He's better than any big that they had currently that they had on their roster last year with Zaja and JaVale McGee. So I believe that Bell signing signifies they're not.
Even as a rookie, you think he's better?
Yeah, because he can block shots. Now, even though he let him get 2 rebounds, North Carolina, Kid and me got those 2 rebounds. I know that upset you, Skip. But Skip, it's not close. It's not close. Nobody closed the gap. Nobody's closed the gap. They got the most horsepower. They got the most beautiful car. And yeah, we added a few parts. We put a little spark plug up under the Minnesota. Yeah, we got a little bit bigger engine size. We got bucket seats instead of the bench seats in OKC, but they still not close to that Ferrari that they got at the Golden State. And what's so amazing is that they still want to go chase that Ferrari when we got old nice, we got a Lambo over there in Cleveland. No, nobody want to see that old Lambo.
So shocking it came back to that.
Yeah. So from what you just told me, then I should predict that Golden State will sweep Cleveland in next year's finals.
Ain't no sweeping.
Right?
Ain't no sweeping.
Well, you just said it's.
All I'm saying is,
Well, he's talking about the West.
Win the West.
Right?
Well, if you can win the West the way you're saying, if you're going to dominate the tougher Western Conference.
I think Cleveland will play them tougher next year in the finals.
Well, if LeBron shows up, maybe they will.
I want you to
Well, if he shows up down the stretch.
Triple-double.
Yeah. Will he be there in Game 3, the last 3 minutes? Will he be there? If he is, maybe they make it a
don't
series.
do this. Skip, why you do this?
Because I'm speaking facts, spewing facts.
One of them golf balls hit you on the head in Palm Springs.
Question. Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't let me play in Palm Springs.
Why?
They told me it was too hot. I had to come home. They told me it was too hot. I said, I'll sign a waiver. I'll go out there.
No,
It was
no,
122.
because they know you.
It was
122?
Yeah, I go there every summer.
Because they know you.
Yeah.
You were talking about, you signed it left-handed, and then when something happens to you, like, see,
Heat doesn't bother me, especially Palm Springs.
122.
So, did the Warriors get any better than they were last year? You can make your case they click better, they're just more comfortable with each other. I get that. You can make that case. But on paper, did they get any better?
No,
They did not.
because they just brought everybody back.
Have my Spurs gotten any worse than they were a year ago? Not yet. Maybe they will, depending on what they lose. So it just highly amuses me that everybody wants to sweep right under the rug the fact that in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, you just want to ignore it because it just wrecks your argument. But my Spurs were blowing out Golden State in the middle of the third quarter at Golden State in game 1 of the West Finals. You're just a few games. You're just 3 more games away from getting to the finals and crushing LeBron's team. Because they own LeBron.
We'd have beat y'all 4-1.
Beat y'all 4-1. So my point is, I love that Spurs team at the end of the year. I wasn't sure going into the year about them without Tim Duncan, but boy, they sure impressed me because they added Gasol and Dwayne Dedmon, and all of a sudden, with LaMarcus rim protecting, they looked like a really good team to me that really enjoys playing at Oakland, where they opened the season by winning by a mere 29 points. But again, that was before they'd figured out how to put ease Durant into the fray. So my point is, I will admit this, it crushed me. The move of the offseason for me and my team was that Iguodala took a quick meeting with my San Antonio Spurs, like right after midnight, whatever it was, Friday night. And a day later, he re-signed with Golden State. So, okay, and they way overpaid him.
He used them. Yeah.
Okay, he used them. But again, they gave him $48 million for 3 years. So that's $16 a year at age 33. And he's played a bunch of years. He's now played, what are we up to, 13 years in the league? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So again, they signed him to keep him from San Antonio because he would have been a good Spur. That would have been a good fit.
He's a winner, too.
He's a winner.
Everywhere he's been, he helps the team.
This is what Iggy did to San Antonio. He wasn't interested in the girl, but the girl that you interested in, she gonna see you, and then she gonna come around. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly right. No, he did. He used them.
You want to go to this? Oh yeah, come on. Because
And I screwed up.
They gonna take that out on him?
I tweeted about it and I jinxed it. I tweeted this would be a great move for San Antonio, and I should have just kept my mouth shut. But I don't think it would have kept his mouth shut because I think he just used the Spurs.
You think Aldridge is there at the start of the season?
I do. Because I don't think you can replace the rebounding and the rim protecting that he brings.
If they could have got a better deal for him, they already would have done it.
Let me tell you what's going to close the gap, Chris. These owners that bought this team in 2010 for $450 million, and in 2020 they're going to be paying a luxury tax, be paying a total of $400 million. When they get tired of paying that money, that's what's going to close the gap, and you break it up. When Clay got 2 more years, Draymond got 3, so that's what's going to break it up. But right now, let's say for the next 2 years, nobody closing the gap in the West.
I would put credence in game 1 when your Spurs were up 23 if the same thing had not happened in the regular season when they were up 22 at home in the first quarter and Golden State ran away from them without KD. I can't give you.
Maybe KD would have been a problem then. Maybe he would have been against the Spurs.
But KD, by the time he was back in the playoffs, they were clicking. They were comfortable with it.
All I know is the game I watched in game 1, the Spurs were dominating the team that dominated Cleveland in the finals.
But I'm going to tell you,
dominating.
I'm going to tell you how your Spurs going to close the gap. You're going to make nice with me. And then I'm going to talk to old Bron, and we're going to, Bron, Kawhi.
Take your talents to San Antonio.
We're going to San Antonio to get on River.
If LeBron says get in the ring is it, that might be the best place for him to go.
It might be the best place.
Take him down, Bron. Take him down.
But if they win the next ring, they might say, we don't really need LeBron.
Y'all ain't winning no Skip.
We got to leave it there.
Well to
Chris,
get to the
thanks for joining
conference
us.
final.